I didn't really have any questions or doubts about the system because I was just busy with daily life, like how we survive next meal. The teachers are more like, they're so strict, very violent. I mean, almost every day there were wanted posters on the street. Everyone was trying to find us. How did you escape from North Korea? We crossed the river into China. If we stay more, like we're gonna be just starved to death. We had a long journey to cross the China. Hi Heritage, my name is Harry. I'm from Hamgyong Province in North Korea. Now I'm 24 years old. I'm studying political science at Sogang University in Seoul, South Korea. How were your first years growing up in North Korea? So I was born and raised in very ordinary family in North Korea. So it's Hamgyong Province. It's a very northern part of North Korea. So when you see the map, it's on the top of North Korea. So the weather is kind of very cold. It's nearby the Russia, so weather is kind of same. And we are also have a sea. It's East Sea of Korea. So we have a fish industry there, and we have a huge amount of farm industry. So when I was born, the same year, my father passed away because of the cancer. I didn't really have any information or the memories of my father. I only grew up with my mom and one of my sister. After my father passed away, there you need some family member who can feed them and take care of their children. As a child who doesn't have a father, it was kind of tough. So my mom quit the job she was doing, and then she started doing business. She go to another city and then buy some stuff much cheaper than here, and then she deliver it to our hometown, and then she sell it again. So it's this kind of business she did was our main income. At the moment, it's kind of illegal, but as you know, like in the late 1990, there was a huge famine in North Korea. Some people say like 3 million people have died because of they starved to death because like some kind of economic crisis and everything just hits the North Korea, and then everyone started to do something for their survival. And then, even it's illegal, the government couldn't do anything because people keep dying. So that's why it became more like a legal. I think of course there are inequality in North Korea. I think it's more like Pyongyang, the capital city, and the rest of the city. Because I think Pyongyang is more like a model city. So it's for tourists, and you have to show the best part of your city and country. So maybe it's kind of made, and some people say it's not real, but I would say I've been there one time. Some places are kind of set. Movies looks like a movie set, but some places are real. People are just living there, and they have cultures. And people living in the Pyongyang area, I also agree with that. Like, people are high educated or not complaining about the system. I think they collect people from another city sometimes, and sometimes they just kick them out of the city if they do something wrong. So that's why compared to another city, the Pyongyang it's very strict. And then if you see the people, even though they don't act, you might think they do act. So they are the main members who brainwashed very like kind of perfectly. So yeah. I think that is also a very controversial question. I think, I mean, I don't really have information of, all of North Korea because I'm just from the very small city. But if I just say my opinion, like personal opinion, the reason North Korea is not, it's hard to be changed is because there's no public opinion or journalist or who can criticize about the government system. It's very sensitive topic. Even though you're like kind of best friends, it's really hard to say. Like, so if you want to say to someone, I think sometimes we are very careful with our family members too. Like if it's not your brothers or sisters, like direct sisters or your parents. So that's why, because if you make some people angry or make them offended about you, they might revenge. So this kind of possibility make people not to talk to others, but still we talk to each other. There's a kind of boundaries, like the limitation. We don't say direct words, or we just say secret language. Like we just recognize it and then we just think inside, and then we don't really express the feelings. How would you describe your early childhood? When I was a child, I didn't recognize the political situation because it didn't really, I didn't think it affects me, and I didn't have any information about the leadership. I didn't know it's wrong or right, and that was just my world that I was born, and I didn't see anything else, so I couldn't imagine anything else. I was very calm, and I don't want to say this, but yeah, people just sometimes say to my parents like, "Oh, your son is very kind of ideal types." Like, there's a kids who don't make a trouble and they just do whatever their parents say. So I was those kind of kids when I was young, but not now. But at the moment, when I go outside, I was very outgoing person. But in my house, I was very kind of small when I was, because my sisters are more than 10 years older than me, so they are more like a adult for me, and my mom is also adult, so I was kind of afraid of having a conversation with them because they always kind of ignore me because I was a kid. And I often I go everywhere, like in our city. I go to mountains, I go to river, swim and fishing, picking up pears, everything eatable. I go to pick it, and then sometimes, even though it's not ripe, I just eat it, and then sometimes I got a stomach ache. When I think about my childhood, the first thing I feel must be loneliness. I think not whole time, but just the period of the time. Our family members are busy with work, and my sisters had a boyfriend, and they often went out, and I was alone in my house. And sometimes my mom just let me stay another friend's house for a while. The food is very sensitive issue in there. Like, if you eat more, they see me very like, some kind of, the tension when I was eating, and this kind of things. They sometimes give their kids more, and this kind of stress made me kind of lonely. Yeah. Eating was not always enough for me, because I still eat a lot. So even though I eat a lot at the moment, but I didn't feel that is enough. So that was something I had to deal with when I was a child. And I couldn't complain about it. I know the situation is not easy. So we just knew this is our world and there's nothing else we can do. Just eating, even though it's a small amount of food, we're kind of had to be satisfied about this because there's nothing that we can ask for or change, ask some change. There's nothing that we can ask help. So when I was like 12 years old, my mom went to the prison. My two sisters and me was in a very difficult situation because my mom always took care of us. So we didn't familiar with the situation without my mom, and we ate some kind of corn soup or corn rice, and it's very very rough, like it's very tough to smash it. So sometimes our mouth feels so chilly. Only thing we ate except some corn is the salted vegetables. So that time was kind of hard. How was the school system in North Korea? Of course, they have different things. For example, you study about something is essential for your future or future career, right? And that is very necessary for living as a human being. But we also study about the history of the dictators. You have to pass it, and then you can start another things. And it's very it's most important subject in school. So the Korean grammars and everything, and of course math is very important, and English is also important. At the moment, I didn't go to school, so I didn't even know the alphabet when I came here. But I think the English is kind of very basic and it's more like British English. So the school schedule is Monday to Saturday. So Monday to Friday, we study full time, and Saturday it ends like 2 p.m. So like half. And I think most of the classes ends, especially middle school, it ends like noon. And if you go to high school, of course you have more subject, but classes ends very early compared to South Korea. So after that, we go to some kind of volunteer activities. we would say volunteer, but we go to farm and helping the farmers in the afternoon. Like sometimes it ends like 9 p.m. and when we arrive to home, it became like midnight. So because we had to walk like 2 hours, and the transportation is very low quality. The busy season, like during the fall, like farmers are so busy, and then like for about a month, this kind of schedules are fixed, and then you have to do that. But like summer and winter, we don't really have this kind of schedule. So the problem is, you have your teacher, your class teacher, who take care of the class, and then she was very good teacher, very friendly, and she sometimes just hit students without reasonable reason. But another teachers, like sometimes they're very scary because they beaten students with sticks, and sometimes they just do whatever they want. I mean, almost every day. Like, there's no no rules of abusing the students. So they just use the sticks and then, like they hit your legs or your hands and everything. Sometimes they just hit your head and they just throw anything that they can pick up. The reason they do hit your hands is it reminds me not to do again because it burns a lot and then swollen and you cannot even write. So it's very usual thing in North Korea. I totally definitely hate to go to school. But if you don't go to school, they're gonna punch your face and the teachers are more like they're so strict. Unless you do everything they want, if you do everything they want, they're gonna treat you very, very well. But if you break the rules and everything, it's gonna be very violent. How was your life as a teenager in North Korea? My life as a teenager in North Korea was very tough. My mom's job was, at the moment, is trying to help the people who separated during the Korean War. So she helped them to reconnect each other through phone call. And then one of her clients reporter, so that's why she got captured and we have to give some money to the policeman because it's very serious crime in there. So 2 year, the sentence was actually longer than 2 years. So when my mom went to jail and when my sister got married and she got a daughter, and then I had to take care of her when they go out work. So that's why I couldn't go to school. And sometimes, I was kind of babysitter at the moment. And I have to care of the others' judgment, the neighbor's judgment of our family because my mom went to jail and we kind of stood up in our town. So people sometimes staring at me and sometimes they just make some gossip about our family and this kind of things. In the prison, so I was young, so only my sisters can go to another. It's very far away, so only one of my sister went there, and you have to give some food to my mom. So the food quality is not enough to maintain your health care. So maybe you need some sugar or salt included food. It's more like a powder, corn powder, but with a salt or sugar. So that's how we deliver some kind of energies to her. Yeah. But if some people who doesn't have a family member who can take care of them, might be very, very, very tough to survive there. Yeah, of course, I had good friends. Most of them are born in the same apartment, the buildings are same. And our parents are friends each other. And we know everything each other and no secret. When there is no people who can take care of me, I often go to my friend's house and stay there for a couple of nights. And my best friend, so I didn't have a father, but she didn't have a mother, so we kind of have common things. And we often, just rely on each other. Every my all of my friends are still there. Not single one succeeded to live there, so it's kind of sad. When did you start questioning the acts of the regime and the government itself? As I told you earlier, I didn't really have any questions or any thoughts about the system because I just thought that is how it works and I thought it's natural. I was just busy with the daily life. Like we need to focus on our life, like how we survive, how we eat next meal, and it's more important things for me and my family. So there is no time space or time that we can think anything else. Like, is it wrong or is it right? It's a very luxury things for us. So yeah, I didn't think of anything like that when I was there, but I started questioning about it when I actually left North Korea. Yeah, to be honest, I was also one of them who really trust them. Like, it's very, so people, I mean, I don't want to criticize another North Korean defectors, but sometimes people just say, oh, when I was there, I knew like they're wrong and I just lived because I couldn't do anything. But actually, it's really hard to change your mindset, and the very tough circumstances are taking place with you. I think maybe if you're rich enough to think about anything else, then you can maybe think of anything. But for me and most of the people who are actually living and farming every day, like there's no time to think of that. And I believed because of the government, they told us like if you wait, like for example 5 years, we're gonna became like that. This kind of hope. I also trust them. I thought like I was kind of proud of our country at the moment. As I taught by the government, South Korea was a country where governed by the United States, some kind of colony country of United States, and that's why we have to let them free, and we have to save them from the colonizers, something like that. This kind of education that I got, so that's why I naturally think like that. And then also I watched the K dramas, and then I was like, I couldn't really trust the information that I see because I thought it's kind of well-made movie. So there's a huge gap with the information from the government and the actual drama. Like it's very huge gap. So it's very hard to connect those two informations. So I didn't decide myself. The reason I left North Korea is because of my mom. As I mentioned, her work was trying to help the separated families in Korean Peninsula. So one of her clients, he came to our house and asked her to connect with his family, but my mom said no because it's too dangerous. She didn't want to go back to prison again. But he again threatened her to report her another some kind of things that he previously did with my mom. So that's why one last work, and then it didn't go well. So if you want to call from North Korea to another country, you have to go to border city, Chinese border. That's what, and then you can use Chinese smartphone. But our city was very kind of far away from there, and we had to go the border city. She actually took me with her because if there is a possibility, like, if she in danger, she immediately have to leave North Korea, right? But then she have to take me with her, so that's why she took me in the first place, just in case of, But then police found out my mom left the city, and then the man left the city, and they was like, "Oh, we gotta find them," and then there were wanted posters on the street in the city, and then everyone was trying to find us. And if we captured, my mom was a second offense, and there's no way she can survive this time, and that's why we decided to leave our country. When and how did you escape from North Korea? So I escaped North Korea in 2013 because the police found out that we are trying to help the separated family members. So we couldn't stay in the border city, so we had to go another city to escape North Korea. So that's why we moved another city, and there was one of my mom's friends are living. We stayed there like 2 weeks because at the moment that was rainy season, so the water between China and North Korea was kind of blow up, so it was too dangerous to cross the river. But when we were like staying there like for about 1 week, the police also came to this town, and they were searching every houses, and we thought it's too dangerous to remain inside, so we hid in a pigsty. Do you know pigsty? So, and yeah, we stayed there like for a week. We ate in the pigsty, and it's very dirty, but there's nothing else that we can go, and after a week like that, we have to find the brokers who organize everything. So we don't know the way, just we follow someone, and we cross the river into China, and then we stayed in the mountains like for about 3 days without any food, because if you cross the border, there's just mountain, and there's a road in front of the mountain, and police often, going around, and that's why we have to hide in the mountain. Yeah, Chinese side, but there should be a broker who should have helped us, but they didn't show up, so that's why we were just stuck in the mountains for about 3 days. And my mom decided if we stay more, like we're gonna be just starved to death, or so that's why we decided to leave the mountain and go to just walk through the mountains, and we found a village, and there are small community of Korean Chinese. In the past they moved to China, so they speak Korean, so we could ask the help to them, and then we contact our brokers, and then they finally came to us, and yeah, we had a long journey to cross the China, the land, huge land with the buses, or then we had to get through Laos, and we crossed the Mekong River. After we crossed the river, we went to Thailand, the police station, and then yeah, it's just same process as a refugee. We had to go to court for illegally crossing the border, and we had hired lawyers and everything, and then once they found out we are like kind of just refugees, and then in Bangkok there's a huge dormitory that contain refugees or all different kind of refugees from all over the world. I think some of them are criminals. I don't know. Yeah. We heard that like we had an option to choose countries, but we were trying to go to South Korea in the first place, so we didn't change our mind. It took like I stayed China for about a month, and then I left China. China to Thailand was like a week period, yeah. And we stayed Bangkok for about 2 months, and during the period, like the ambassadors came to us and trying to find out like if he is a spy or not, and then some people decided to go another country. And the reason I didn't choose another country is because mostly it takes a lot of time. US is like it takes 2 years almost, so you have to stay in Thailand. How do you reflect on your time in North Korea after living many years ago? To be honest, I think North Korea is very negatively right now compared to when I came here first time. Because at the moment I didn't really have any negative thoughts or positive thoughts about country. I didn't think anything about politically or something. But after like 10 years, like I learned a lot. I learned about history, and I also studied political science, and I found out the system was not really great system for the citizens. And I knew only about my family things and everything at the moment, but I also learned a lot. You know, North Koreans who got tortured, and I met a lot of people here in South Korea, and I learned a lot from them. We were also in the same place, but we had a very different life. And then these kinds of things affect me, and it's sad actually when I think it's North Korea. Like, there is my childhood memories, and my friends are there. Of course, some of my family members are there. For me, my hometown is still always been my favorite place. So yeah, it doesn't change at all, but in a political way, it changed a lot. I no more think it's a great country, or I no more respect those dictators or everything. Yeah, this is very different. It does affect me. At the beginning, I thought if I live just like as normal citizens in here, it's not gonna be different. I thought like that, but actually, times passed. Like maybe 5 years later, I still treat it with very different way. So that's why I recognized there is no way that I can live very normally, or you know. So that's why I decided to live as a North Korean, and that's why I was more curious about my country after 5 years, and that's why I started learning about North Korea and politics, human rights activities, or you know, changing the narrative of North Korea, this kind of stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Heritage. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe this channel and thumbs up.